Now, in this week's episode of Preposterous People, I want to talk about a woman by the name of Corrie ten Boom. Now, Corrie and her sister Betsy lived in Holland during World War II. These women were Christian women, and it is because of their faith in Jesus that they saw what the Nazis were doing to the Jewish people, and they decided to hide Jewish people in their homes. And they did this for many years until they were found out by the Nazis. And once they were found out by the Nazis, they themselves were put into a concentration camp and left to work and die. Now, it was in Ravensbrück concentration camp that unfortunately Betsy died right before the Allied soldiers were able to rescue them. Now, in the years after the war, Corrie went back to Germany to preach about Jesus and forgiveness. And after she was done one day preaching in a church, a man came walking up to her. He was a German soldier, and she recognized him as he approached her. He was one of the German soldiers who were in that concentration camp when she was there. And all of these emotions started flooding up in Corrie's mind. What is she going to say to this man? This Nazi soldier walked up to her and said, "I need to ask you for forgiveness. Since the war, I've become a Christian, and I realized the horrible things that I did to people, and I want to say I'm sorry." Now, Corrie was faced with an almost impossible decision. She had just got done preaching about Jesus and about forgiveness, and now she is face to face with one of the people who is very much responsible for the death of her sister. She wrestled as to what to do, for what she said seemed like an eternity. She wrote about this story, and I want to read it to you. Corrie said, "And I still stood there with the coldness clutching my heart. But forgiveness is not an emotion. I knew that too. Forgiveness is an act of the will, and the will can function regardless of the temperature of the heart. Help," I prayed silently. "I can lift my hand. I can do that much. You, Lord, supply the feeling." And so woodenly, mechanically, I thrust my hand into the one stretched out to me. And as I did, an incredible thing took place. The current started in my shoulder and raced down my arm, sprang into our joined hands. And then this healing warmth seemed to flood my whole being, bringing tears to my eyes. "I forgive you, brother," I cried, with all of my heart. For a long time, we grasped each other's hands, the former guard and the former prisoner. I had never known God's love so intensely as I did then. Corrie's story is preposterous to the world, but in the kingdom of God, it makes a lot of sense.